What's up, everybody? It's your favorite reviews, favorite nerd, and today we are taking a look at the Hasbro Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Barricade. Now, I picked this guy up on Amazon. He was 10% off, and you guys know I love the video games, so I had to pick this guy up. I grew up with that War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron video games, and I'm super glad they're finally making a figure of this character. And so today we're going to be taking a look at him, but before we can do that, we have to take a look at the accessories. And he only comes with one. He comes with this gun molded out of black plastic. And, you know, I'm torn. I'm really torn on this because the sculpt work on this is absolutely beautiful. It's got all these lines straight out of the game, and all these pegs and stuff almost don't look like they're even pegs. They almost look like details. And I think all these beautiful sculpt work and details look amazing, but there's not a lick of paint on this thing. It's just solid molded black plastic, and you know, that really bothers me. Now, one of the gimmicks of this line is that just like the game, they don't actually hold the weapons. They're actually the arm. So what you want to do is grab the arm and rip it off. Oh, poor fella. And just take the gun and a peg right there and plug it in. And now he's holding his weapon. And you know, I think it works pretty well. It definitely evokes the style of the game with them kind of having their arm transform into the weapon. And I don't think it looks too bad. Definitely makes him look a little skinny in the arm, but you know, I'll take it. And in vehicle mode, you can take it and there's this square tab on top. You can plug that into this square hole on the top of the car mode, just like that. And that kind of invokes the idea of in the game when you could drive around and shoot at the Autobots with the gun. So, looks great. Now, here's something I just noticed as I was taking the gun off. I noticed that, you know, this is a round peg, and the peg on his arm kind of looks round, but it actually has this flat section on top. And in the arm itself, there's this little flat section. Are you kidding me? Is that a stress mark? This figure is brand new, and there's already stress marks on there. I don't know if you guys can tell. It might be my lights reflecting, but there's a stress mark inside that joint right there. Bummer. Any rate, you can put the arm back on him, but it is directional. So actually, maybe that's why it's got a stress mark. Because I was busy trying to stick it on any way it would go. But it's directional, so just be careful. And let's take a look at him. Starting off at the head, the sculpt work isn't bad. I like the painted eyes, the yellow painted eyes. Definitely looks like the game, but you know, it almost looks like he's crying. Yeah, I'd be crying if I lacked this much articulation too. Ball joint at the head, and it is really stiff. I think there might be some extra plastic on that ball joint because it really doesn't want to rotate. But probably 360 around. You got this beautiful purple paint on the shoulders. Looks great. Ball joint at the arm gets you up about that far. It's not great. 360 around till you hit it at the backpack. Got a bend at the elbow, single jointed bend at the elbow. Doesn't even get you 90 degrees. Man, that sucks. Some black paint apps on the shoulder, that's good. Some nice sculpted detail along there. Got some little lines in the arm, I like that. Little bit of sculpt work, and the panel line is kind of designed to make it look more interesting. That's good. Arm came open. Ball joint at the wrist. Doesn't get you a whole lot of swivel, kind of runs into that panel there. And it's interesting, like they sculpted it in this kind of open hand position instead of like a fist, but it's still got a 5mm port in there, even though it can't hold the gun. Interesting. Let's zoom out, brush them. Some nice paint apps on the chest. I really like the design they got going on there on the chest. I like that sculpted detail. Beautiful silver paint. Nice Decepticon logo. It's a shame they don't have any gold on there because you guys know what that would mean. Silver and gold. Right. Rotation at the waist. On a hinge. Ball jointed hips. Get you out to about there. You know, it's fine. And gets you way more than the full Monty. Feel like it's not a great place to have a lot of articulation, but you know, it is what it is. Single jointed bend at the knee gets you not even like 45 degrees. Like, come on. That's embarrassing. Like, this is a mainline release. This is a brand new figure. If we get this little fender out the way. Like, really? Moving on. We got rotation at the foot. Goes up. Doesn't go down. And no rocker. It's sculpted at an angle like this. Not a big fan. Some nice sculpted detail on the legs. The shins are painted in this gray, which is nice, but got a little chipping on mine. Coming around to the back, I like the detail on the back, but like a lot of bare plastic here. Not a lot of paint, which is a bummer. And a little hollow here in the thighs. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but yeah. Real bummer. And he fell over. These feet, I noticed these feet are like really loose. Like, not great. And I almost forgot, but you can take the gun, use this little tab, and this male will go to this female on the back, and you can tab it in place when it's not in use. All right, so let's transform him. Starting off with the feet. Gonna want to rotate them up because they so badly want to do that. Peg the legs together and peg together the two halves of the canopy, or can of peas, should I say. Moving back around to here, there's a ball joint right here and a rotation on the back of the wheel. Rotate it out, swivel at the ball joint, and just kind of move that out. Of course, that came up tabbed. Then you can tab that in. This slot right here will go into this tab, or this tab into this slot rather. Same thing on the other side. Rotate this around, bring it up. This tab will go into the slot here in the fender. Tab it in. Rotate 180 degrees at the waist and move back this canopy, or can of peas, should I say. And I'm gonna kind of want to, it'll kind of fall behind the front hood section onto the arms. Gonna want to rotate here. Open this up. Well, I guess you don't want to rotate this yet. Open up the arm. Hand is on a ball joint, so you're gonna want to rotate that up 90 degrees, spin it around 180 degrees, and drop it into the arm. This tab will fall into this slot. Close that up. Then you can rotate it, make it make sense. Same thing on the other side. Open this up, hand up, spin it around, and collapse it. This male to this female, close that up, rotate it around 180 degrees. Make sure that arm's in there, close that gap. Now, these ball pegs are on a swivel right here, and you're gonna have this tab go to this slot, and this tab on the inside of the fender to this kind of hole right here. It's not much of a slot, I guess. So just move that into place, and this can be a bit of a pain to line everything up. And that's come undone. Same thing on the other side. This tab into the slot on the thigh here, and this slot to this tab. I guess just kind of try and line this up kind of in this line here, and then kind of feed it in. Oh, but then that tab kind of gets stuck in there. There. And finally, take this backpack, pull it out on this little armature, tab this together, click into place. Take this big unit, and these tabs right here and here are gonna kind of feed into these slots right here and right there. So this big old unit's gonna kind of go over and cover down on the entire back of the figure, just like that. And you can of course push this up, and I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And there he is. Rolls like a champ, and it looks absolutely beautiful. We have these amazing silver paint apps on the canopy, or can of peas, should I say. Got this Decepticon symbol on the hood. We got these bright purple painted headlights. Got some nice little pinstripe details there, and some black paint on the gray molded plastic. Or is that gray paint? That might be gray paint on black plastic. Yeah, because look there, it's all black on the underside. So that's pretty good color matching there. But nice sculpted detail. Again, love the pattern on top. This kind of hexagon pattern definitely reminds you of the game. And on the back, a lot of nice engine detail, but man, this is what I'm saying, like, there's no paint. There's no paint. And the wheels also have these nice details, like from the game, but they were painted like purple. That would look great if they were painted purple, because they're purple in the game, but they're not. And this mushroom peg's kind of unsightly. Like they did the black on the front, but not on the back. Bummer. But otherwise, this vehicle mode looks way better than the robot mode, and definitely looks good. And for size comparison, there's deep cover. So yeah, just about average size deluxe. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. As an action figure, this thing sucks. The articulation is really bad. It's super shallow in a lot of places. You can't get that many dynamic poses out of it. The paint apps, where they are used, look good, but there are a lot of unpainted surfaces on this thing, and it just makes it look that much worse. Another thing is balancing. The tolerances on the feet are really bad, and it just does not want to stand up. So it makes this thing, balancing this thing, an absolute nightmare. Positives wise, the sculpt work is gorgeous. It's absolutely amazing, and I think the car mode is really good. Speaking of the car mode, the transformation to get there is relatively fun and simple. It's not too complex, which I wouldn't hope so for a Hasbro figure. And like I said, I think the paint looks really good. And do I recommend this? No, absolutely not. This figure is not good, and I would only buy it if you want car mode or if you were a huge fan of the video games like me. So, yeah, big pass for me. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.